Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's get it on. So from here starts the speaking test. This is the speaking mock test of the International English Language Testing System taking place in Ross IELTS Academy. The candidate is Irfan Haqiqat. The candidate number is 104-13278. The examiner is Joseph, examiner number 443533. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Joseph. Would you please tell me your full name?
Yes, my full name is Irfan Haqiqat.
And what can I call you?
Just call me Irfan.
All right. Can I see your identification, please?
Yes, sure. Here you are.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Thank you.
So much. You're welcome.
Well, in part one, in the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. First, I'd like to ask about your job. Do you have a job right now?
Yes, I'm working as a mechanical engineering. Now it's about 5 years.
Do you enjoy your job?
Yes, it's a very interesting job because there are a lot of things that you can do in this job. For example, nowadays I'm working as a HVAC engineering. For example, some equipment such as heating, ventilation systems, chillers, boilers, or other things.
What is your typical day like at work?
In fact, when I get up, I start my day with cup of tea, and after that I drive my car to my work, for example, maybe a building or mall or some other places, or maybe a factory.
Now let's move on to talk about your childhood. Did you enjoy your childhood?
Yes, it was very interesting for me. As I remember, when I was a child, I was playing football with my friends or going to park or some other places.
What is your first memory of your childhood?
In fact, let me think. It's a very hard question because I remember a day that I went to park with my father. Maybe I was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was a very good day for me, and I have enjoyed that day a lot.
Do you think it is better for children to grow up in the city or in the countryside?
It depends to family. For example, my family was living in a city, so due to this reason, I grew up in the cities. But I think it's better that children have a connection with other people's, other child. So maybe in some rural area, it doesn't be possible for children.
Now let's move on to talk about clothes. Are clothes important to you?
Yes, a lot, because of my work, and also when I was a student, I was really care about my clothes. And nowadays, when I'm working, it's very important to have a good clothes when you go to a building or other places.
Where do you usually buy your clothes?
Usually maybe some malls or some small shops, because I really care about the small shops in my neighbors actually.
Have you ever worn a uniform?
Just when I was a student, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago.
All right. Now this is the end of part one. Now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, you can take some paper and a pencil. This is your
Thank you so
pen.
much.
This is your cue card.
Thank you.
And a piece of paper to take some notes.
Thank you so much.
And describe an important journey that was delayed. All right, your 1 minute preparation time is over. You can start speaking now.
All right. As I remember, about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, our company was have an exhibition in north of country, and so we decided to go in there with my manager. And because of one mistakes of my manager and one of my co-worker, he was having a delay in this journey. So due to this reason, our journey became a little late, and we was having a problem to go in there. And after that, I really was nervous and felt blue about this situation, because it was very important for me. There was a lot of projects in that city, so we have to go in there and visited a lot of people. And so after that, my manager managed the situation, and after that, because we was wanted to go in there with the car, and after that we decided to go in there with an airplane. So we take there sooner, and so it was no problems. And after that, I really was having a feeling better. So I go in there and visit with other peoples and doing my jobs. And in the end, everything goes very well, and nothing bad happens in the end of this journey.
Would you like to add some more information?
Yes, I would like to say about my co-worker, because he fell asleep and he forgot that he should wake up very early in the morning, and I was very angry about him.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This is the end of part 2, and your 2 minute time is over right now. Let's move on to part 3, but before that, please give me your piece of paper, the cue card, and the pen. Thank you very much. So, we've been talking about an important journey that was delayed, and I'd now like to ask you some questions related to this topic. How easy is it to travel around your country?
Nowadays it's very easy, because there are a kind of transportation that you can use, such as trains, airplanes, cars, or a lot of taxis, buses, or other things. And the roads nowadays is very good and safe. And also I remember many years ago that whenever someone decided to go another place, that was very tough and hard, but nowadays it's very simple.
Which method of travel do you consider safest?
In my view, travel with airplanes is very safer, because whenever you are driving car in the road, maybe there are a lot of things that maybe could be happening in the road, such as maybe accidents or distract the driver. And due to this reason, nowadays we have got a lot of accidents in roads. But in my opinion, the airplanes are the safest method for traveling.
All right. What do you think people can learn by traveling to other countries?
There are a lot of things that they can learn, such as they get a lot of information about their culture, their society, their language, their foods. For example, I remember for about 10 years ago, I traveled to Russia, and that was a very beautiful city with a lot of lakes, with delicious food, with a good culture, and I enjoy a lot of from that journey.
All right. What are the pros and cons of low-cost air travel?
Sorry, could you please repeat your question?
Sure. What are the pros and cons of low-cost air travel?
Air travel. Air travel, in my opinion, is very good ways to travel, and also it's very fast, and you can, in fact, you can manage your time to have a better travel to other places, and also having in my opinion, it's a very good way to travel.
Perfect. How do you think people will travel in the future?
I guess nowadays I watches a lot of I read a lot of news about many kinds of transportations, but some scientists told about the teleports in the future, and it's kind of the transportation that puts something and teleport to another place. Some like a signal, transport signal to another place, and it's a very fast traveling. For example, if you want to go to another planet in another galaxy, you can use it. But if you want to go in with a starship, it's take a lot of time, in fact.
Thank you very much. This is the end of the speaking test. You can now sit back and relax and take a deep breath and allow me to review your performance for 2 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to know what band score you'll get in the IELTS speaking test? Perhaps you want to improve your performance and prepare yourself for the real test. Then why not book an online mock test with us that will last for 25 minutes. 12 minutes of the test itself and 13 minutes of comprehensive feedback, plus we'll give you useful tips on how to make your performance better. So, we know how to help you. Join us.
Okay, that was a lot of talking. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you give me this feedback because I know this will help me. This is exactly what I need.
Although my job is hard, I enjoy doing it.
Because you have already practiced the last time I'm going to on the exam day, you should make sure, okay, this is the last time I'm going to talk about
IELTS
Academy for our generation.
Find out movie and talk about what's in a movie and film. So, we were talking about cinema or film.
All right, so in order to assess your overall band score, we have 4 criteria. So I'm going to review a criterion by criterion. We have fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So I'll move on to the first criterion, and that's fluency and coherence. Well, of course, you kept going. You were able to speak at length. You managed to keep and maintain the flow of speech, but you had some hesitations and self-repetitions. You repeated yourself a couple of times. Your management and control over your flow of speech is really praiseworthy, but you need to you need to manage your hesitations. You shouldn't make a lot of pauses. And in order to get rid of those pauses, you can use fillers and discourse markers. Of course, you use the couple of discourse markers, like you said, in my opinion, in my view, which is perfect. But you need to diversify those discourse markers and use fillers as well. You say, for example, sort of, or I'd like to add. So you can buy yourself some time in order to get over those pauses and hesitations. Of course, you need to use a wider range of connectives as well. You used but, so, also. You can diversify those connectives as well. You can use, for example, although, however, even though, those complicated and less common connectives in order to increase your band score at least by 1 band score. So now let's move on to the lexical resource, which is vocabulary. So you had enough vocabulary to speak about familiar and unfamiliar topics, but your flexibility is limited. Your word choice sometimes is problematic. You need to focus on your vocabulary, use a wider range of vocabulary, and you need to paraphrase me. You need to paraphrase my questions. I ask you a question, try to come up with an alternative to my question and rephrase my question before you start answering. This makes the examiner, this catches the eye of the examiner and makes you capable of maintaining the flow of speech. This is you have enough vocabulary to talk and communicate, and that's what matters, but you need to add more vocabulary and use more complex vocabularies. So this is with regards to the lexical resource. Now let's move on to the grammatical range and accuracy. In this part, you can make simple sentences. You are able to make simple sentences. This is what matters. This is very good, but you need to use them accurately. For example, you said, I was to going. I was to going. You meant I was going. Or we goes, we went to. We goes to, we went to. Or was have. You should have said, I was having, or I had. I was have is inaccurate. So you can work on these mistakes, slight mistakes, and hone them and improve them and try to increase your band score. When it comes to pronunciation, you are able to pronounce the words correctly, but sometimes I think that you mix up some words that are similar to each other. For example, you said travel to plants, and you meant travel to planets, right? So yes, you mixed up and confused some words which are similar to each other, so you need to pay more attention to this part as well. So in order to increase your band score, you have to pronounce the words accurately. And you didn't have the rise and fall. You need to have this native-like and natural intonation and rhythm. Of course, it is okay for anyone who is coming from each part and any part of the world. Any country has their own specific accents. So you have your specific accent, it's okay. We're not talking about accents here. We're talking about the correct pronunciation. You put the stress on the syllable, on the corresponding syllable. For example, when you say comprehension, for an example, you shouldn't say comprehension or comprehension. It's comprehension, comprehension. So if you pay attention to where to put your stress on which syllable, that makes you sound more natural while speaking. Do you have any questions, all concerned?
Right, everything's fine. Thank you so much.